So let me tell you a story. Cappy's tired too. It's like 10 days, pretty serious, sometimes intense physical labor. And no, I don't really believe in the mind and the body. Yeah, they're connected and they influence each other. But I rarely, if I'm physically exhausted, that don't mean that I'm mentally exhausted. I still got my brain power where like, oh yeah, let's play video games. But this was one of those deals where I was so physically exhausted, it started to affect me mentally. Not even just in a bad way, just I'm exhausted. Like I have no motivation to do anything. It's been about 10 days of that. And oh my God, look at us now. Now we can do a podcast. I'll explain later why it's been such a delay in the podcasting world. But I gotta tell you a story first. And as always, I'm gonna help out you boys. I go into town. For me, town is a half an hour one-way drive. I go to town usually once a day, just to get the fuck out of the house. And there's a place, a cafe. They got these really good no-carb protein balls. They're a great little thing to eat, especially if you do the was it the semi-permanent fasting? Like I don't eat till about 2 in the afternoon. And I'll have either a Breve latte with heavy cream because of the fat and the cream, no carbs. Or I'll have one of these protein balls. And a lot of times that'll kick you into 4 p.m. before you're eating. Which, by the way, is a great, like, you don't realize how much time you spend eating. You got to go get the food. You got to go prepare the food. Or you got to go get the food that's prepared for you and wait for the clusterfuck of Americans to maybe serve you your Perkins pie. There's a lot of time that goes into food acquisition, preparation, and eating. And if you just skip a meal, really, you can all skip breakfast. Oh, God, Jesus, don't skip breakfast because that's what we were told to by the food pyramid people. Like, where in human history did you get 3 squares a day? Where was that? So, yeah, and you can get a lot of stuff done if you don't have to eat. If you hold off eating until 4 p.m., you had a productive day. You had a really productive day. And then, oh my God, did you know you're not overweight? Oh, geez. Dieting and exercise is so hard. So you got to go to this one cafe in town to get it. And it's a very popular cafe. It's a very good cafe. Probably the best in town, I'd have to say. And I walk in, and guys, none of this is made up. None of this is even slightly embellished. You walk in the door, and the kitchen/ordering table is to your left, like the aisle, right? They got the display with food, then you get your counter, and then another display with food, right? And big white sign. You can't miss it. It's got to be about 2 feet by foot and a half. Right there, white with red lettering. Line forms here. Big red arrow saying keep walking forward and turn to your left to do, I guess, a counterclockwise line. And every time I've gone into this place, that's where people queue up anyway, naturally. I didn't know there was a need for a sign, but apparently there was a need for a sign. And it wasn't that early in the morning, but Cappy still hadn't fired up his engines yet by that time. Not 100% mentally. And I look to my left, and there's 3 fucking old postmenopausal ladies. Just where they got that aura about them that their IQ is down about 2 standard deviations. Just it's beyond boomers. All right, I get boomers. Let's just stop in the middle of the busy aisles. The boomers, if you go to Boomer Magazine or ARP, they have a magazine called Aisles. And they show you all the aisles and all the stores in all the United States, but the main ones where the main aisles intersect, like there's a main thoroughfare on one way and a main thoroughfare on the other way. And they do that so baby boomers know where to stop in the fucking middle. I'm talking beyond that level of fucking lack of self-awareness. You just immediately, I guarantee you, Darwinistically, genetically, bioevolutionary, we got to survive, and these old broads going to get killed by the mammoth. You look them like they're not there. They're not there. And yeah, okay, boomers take the test slow, stupid, don't know how to drive. I was an F4 Phantom pilot. Well, you're not piloting that Mustang now. Just go. They're dumb. They're functionally stupid. And you can immediately assess that about them. But what gave it away is they're in the wrong line. Old dumb ladies, you're postmenopause, whatever. I don't know what happens. I don't know what happens. Classical stereotype. You're not going to stand out of the line. Look at the amply provided for you menu up above to figure the fuck out what you want to get first. You're not going to stand in the line looking at the menu while other people ahead of you are ordering to say, maybe I ought to assess what I want. No, you're going to be the classical postmenopausal boomer lady who, when she gets up there, then she doesn't decide then. No, decision's too quick. Has to negotiate, has to discuss. Has to ask, has to inquire with the person. Well, what do you think about? Oh, my goodness. Well, what do I want? Oh, my God, run you over with a pickup truck. That's a given. I know you boomers are going to stop in the aisles. You subscribe to Aisle Magazine. I know you're going to take your Mustang with the 8 cylinders and only use 2 of them and drive 10 miles an hour slower in the left lane. I know. We all know you. We know you're going to now wait. You're not immediately, or you're going to wait until you get to the front and then, oh, let's discuss and talk. And then haberdash with the person. So what do you think? He said, oh, my goodness, the weather, yeah, I expect that. Okay. But holy shit, this is the one where I'm like, yeah, something's happening. Something happens when they hit menopause. Because I was looking, I'm like, guys, don't do this. Guys, get in the fucking line. Oh, I'm sure there's a dumb guy who gets it, but I'm looking. Big white sign with big red arrow. And I'm looking at the ladies and unlike these worthless people, I have shit to do. Least of which is pay the 15 fucking % into the retirement fund. Just for you old people, honest to God, get the fuck out of the way. Well, our Social Security checks aren't buying as much. Maybe if you got the fuck out of the way and let the generations after you produce the shit so that your Social Security check might fucking buy something, maybe that would help. But could you just do us a fucking favor and get the fuck out of the way? In every regard, driving, shopping, getting your fucking food, get the fuck out of the way. So I'm trying to, did I lose my mind? Am I fucking insane? I look at it and that Cappy snapped a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. I'm like, fuck this shit. Because you actually have that inclination. Well, the herd, the humans are lining up here. I'm like, nope. I lined up where I should. Sit down, boomer people. Let me show you how it's done. Fucking assholes telling my generation, yeah, you look it up in the dictionary. Parenting, lecture. And I'm like, I don't know what we're doing. Oh, who am I? You young people, hold on. I got to figure out which way to put my dick into my asshole. I get in the line where I'm supposed to be. I grab my fucking shit. I'm ready to go. Oh, in under 10 seconds. Could you imagine that? So Gertrude fucking jibber jabbering. What do you think? Well, I'm too stupid. I'm not even human. I need someone to tell me what you like that. What should I get the brisket or should I get butter with it? I'm on a fixed income. So she done. And I say, excuse me. And then the young lady behind the counter, yes. I'm like, is this the line? Because you can't fucking tell the old boomer hags to get in the fucking line like you wanted to. No, now we got chaos. old timer guy behind me. He had the exact like I got in first. I'm looking, I stand up, and he followed me in. He was like, "Isn't this the line?" I'm like, "It's a bunch of old ladies that don't know what the fuck they're doing." And he just kind of laughs because he's the old man because he's probably married to one of them. So Gertrude finally figures out what the fuck she wants, orders, "Excuse me," loud enough everyone can kind of hear in the cafe. It's not that big of a cafe. Yeah. Is this the line? Yes, and then you know what was great? The old boomer ladies, because I need some fucking beaker. Don't you need somebody to tell them what to do? They're fucking robots. They're fucking geese. They don't know anything. Oh, are we in the wrong line? Did we skip ahead of you? I'm like, lady, how did you miss the fucking sign? How fucking stupid are you? And why do you have a license to drive? He said, now, I don't know. I'm not a big time driver, but aren't there signs involved with driving? Don't you have to pay attention? They put signs on the road, right? Kind of the guide and negotiate traffic. You can't follow a fucking sign in a cafe. We're going to put you in charge of a 3,500-pound vehicle going 75 miles. Well, let's be okay, 45 miles an hour with you boomers. Holy fucking shit. And then, oh, did we skip ahead? Oh, we're sorry. I'm like, yeah, thanks, no problem. Did you want to go ahead of us? I'm like, yeah, I do. So I got in, dropped my shit, put the credit card, boobity boppity, boppity beep. I sit down, boomers, especially you menopause late. Sit the fuck down. This is gonna floor you. This is gonna so come on, baby, light my fire you. You're gonna think that you're getting dicked down by Jim Moronson in 1968 when he had yet to die on the toilet. If I didn't have anyone in front of me, okay, I didn't have to like, hey, are we all being effing R-tarded here? That negotiation, that discussion. Then the lady said, yeah, we all are. I'm like, oh, hey, you mind getting the fuck in the line? If we didn't have to go through that, can you believe, boomer and boomerettes, I could have gotten in and out of there in under a minute? Could you imagine that? Imagine that. What if everyone had their fucking shit together, got in, order your fucking food, and got the fuck out? Could you imagine there'd be no lines? Like, it really makes me wonder, Disneyland or theme parks, there's always a line for the ride. What would happen if we got rid of the boomers? Like, you had non-boomer day at Disneyland. Would we just be banging out the line? Just whoop, 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 whoop. Everyone gets on, shoom. Everyone gets on, shoom. Lines, you got the lines are only as long as the cart can carry because we're just getting it out. Does this roller coaster ride have wheels? It's like, lady, you don't even have Alzheimer's. What the fuck is this? And and then another one, okay? I have to go to the Menards. They do not have a Homey Depot here. They have a Menards and a Lowe's. I prefer the Menards over the Lowe's, but everyone's a fuck up in this town, so I'll go into that later. Part of the reason quite literally one of the main reasons we haven't had a podcast in a while. I grabbed a thing. I had to pour concrete. Okay. I had to pour support pillars to reinforce the deck because the cousin fuckers out here fucked up the deck in one aspect. So you got to dig a 4-foot hole down to get below the frost line. You need it's like a tapping tool, big metal rod. One end's got a flat end that you can tap down the ground. The other end's got a chisel at the end of it to chisel out larger rocks, and you can pry them out and all that. Great exercise, by the way. The code on it wasn't being read, right? So I put it in. Check out, lady. Beep, beep, beep. Doesn't register. Beep, beep, beep. Doesn't register. Hits the bell. Oh, when they hit the bell, that's what fuck. Somebody, the mistake economy already rears its head. somebody put the wrong code in, or somebody with their UPC tracking system fucked up. So now I wait. Not only do I wait, everyone behind me waits. We're already multiplying loss of economic efficiency by orders of magnitude because somebody fucked up. And I'm not kidding. She comes and gets help. Assistant reserve vice manager comes in. Oh, by the way, they're all like 45 plus, 45 on the low end. And the gal comes in, oh, does the same thing. Beep, 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 beep. Then the gal, who's, I don't know what she's doing, just standing there. I mean, maybe anti-theft protection. She comes up, and then a fourth lady shows up. I don't know where she came from. And I got a picture of 4 postmenopausal gals all it's a picture. It's a painting worth a million words. You wanna know why the US economy is failing and why we can't have nice fucking shit and why everything's so expensive? Here's 4 ladies trying to figure out the price of a tamping thing. And in my mind, I'm doing like, "My God, the labor you're wasting right now and everybody else's time is if this keeps up for another 5 minutes times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5 minutes time, that's 40 minutes at the prorated. It wouldn't have come to the full cost of this thing. This thing I think is like $60. I have to look it up. But there is such a lack of awareness and no training. And I'm looking at them, and you could, and it's not that it's incompetence. I don't believe it's incompetence. I believe something happens after menopause. You take a picture of you like, I can't believe it. Look at them. They're a bunch of monkeys who can't figure out how to open up the coconut. What the fuck is going on? You need 4 people? 4 people. What what also gets me is the hypocrisy of adults on this whole thing. Now, this is male or female, doesn't, but like it switches for you young people today. Let me explain something. Your parents are dictatorial, because I said so, and look it up in the dictionary. Like they know everything. They got to, and they're very upset. They get very upset if you waste their time, right? And I understand that. But swear to God, something happens around 45, certainly 50, where especially the women, but then the guys, you're like, why are you the children now? Why are you standing in the middle of the aisles? Stop subscribing to Aisle Quarterly from ARP. Why does it take 4 of you to figure this the fuck out? And I don't know what happens. I speculate with women, it is menopause. I think there is a biochemical thing that, and some of you will no doubt tell me in the comments section. Men, it's a little bit like I had to be with my old man. Hey, you losing it? No, no, no. I'm just getting out of the car. I'm like, yeah, it takes you a while to get out of the car. Well, I'm old. I'm like, yeah, okay. Just want to make sure, you got to get out of the car when we come to a stop. Like if I park it there, you don't sit there no more. No, no, I'm just trying to get, I'm like, okay, leave you in a ditch. Swear to God, I'll leave you in a ditch. Start asking, who am I? Where am I? There's the ditch. But I was like, you gotta be kidding me. 4. They're just trying to figure, like they're trying to disarm a nuclear weapon. Oh, like, oh, looking over, what's just standing there? Oh. And so it reminded me of a friend of mine who went through menopause recently. I think she's 52. And she's like, "Oh, Aaron, women of a certain age." I'm like, "What do you mean women of a certain age?" "Well, when the M word." I just say what the fuck? Just say menopause. Just say ain't got no eggs. No more eggs. They're all dried up inside. No more eggs. You ain't gonna have no children. All dried up. Your days are gone. 4 more kids. Just say menopause. I said, what, because I don't know about menopause. Well, hormones and flashes. Is it? No, I don't know. It's fucking speak English. Well, girls get a little slower and and this and that. I'm like, well, too fucking bad for you. And the premise she was presenting to me is that like menopause, like, well, you gotta understand they get a little bit slower and things aren't gonna be like it used to be. And then I call up my buddy who's married to an older gal because he's older. Not that he's younger and married an older gal. He's older than her. And I said, hey, I got a question for you. Do women lose like 10 to 15 IQ points when they hit menopause? And he just starts laughing. I'm like, oh, shit. That's the old man laugh when he finds out the young person's about to step on a landmine he did. You don't like that old man knowing old man laugh. You don't want to have that laugh when you're the one asking the question because it means you're about to go into some fucking bad shit. And he's like, oh, yeah, they're chemicals and this and that, and you got to be more patient. I'm like, no. 'Cause here's the thing. I know reality is gonna be and nature's gonna be what it's gonna be, but I'm like, "No." I sat there, I'm like, "There's none of this menopause shit." And yeah, there's gonna be menopause, like, you're gonna be on your game. I'm not gonna fucking explain things 3 times. You're gonna be aware. You're gonna drive. You're gonna read signs. I'd say that because the sign cafe protein ball incident was recent. But I'm 49. I just find this out now. I want to warn you, young men, yet another reason not to get married. They're g it's gonna be called the menopause excuse, okay? And whereas most excuses are bullshit, "I can't work because I have autism." Shut the fuck up, you're faking it. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, you can immediately dismiss that shit. No, I'm not joking. I mean, there is a thing called menopause. Yes, that's very real. Despite what you girls believe, you can have kids until you're 75, girl boss to the moon. And but I've seen it. I've seen it. You have not seen what I have seen. I have seen my share. You have not seen what I've seen it. It's not a joke. And I don't claim to know exactly the underlying biochemical, neurochemical fundamentals of it, but it looks like they get slower and dumber. Like common sense is out. It is like really, if I had to handle these gals, it would almost be like dealing with like special needs, like functionally mentally retarded children, where you needed a chaperone, almost to that level. I'm like, the simple, just it's really dark because you think, okay, well then you could get Alzheimer's, you could get dementia. You don't pick up on signs. You don't see the red light. You forget where the post office is. Holy shit. I am going to work out and stay in shape just for my mind as long as I possibly fucking can. Because the fuck if this is going to happen to me. And whereas there is some veracity where, like, I've seen it, yes, their IQ does go down about 10 points. You're like, "What the fuck are you doing? Is your it's kinda like that. Have you ever played sports? Like, is your head in the game? Are you focusing?" They're not. They're really not. Now, one could make the argument that they're retired, they've lived a life of privilege, being, women where everything is kinda taken care of, and you can girl boss, and you can have your Social Security, and your husband will take care of you, and then you got your divorce settlement. You could argue, and then they're just not, you know, they didn't have to, "Hey, we gotta do the math on that load over there to make sure this whole structure don't." They could just like, "Well, teehee, I'm gonna take my lunch." There might be an element of that. But where there is a little bit, or more maybe than a little bit of like, "Oh, yeah, something biologically, physically happens," I'm seeing way too many people it's gonna be too tempting to use it as an excuse. You get all 3 of them, all the boomer ladies at the cafe, boomer haircut. They know. They know men like long hair. They don't care. They're gonna cut it. And because generally, what was it? Mike Sexton, the lawyer, divorce lawyers. He doesn't know anyone who's happily married. Very few, exceptionally few people are happily married. Not only are you going to see their true, like, oh, it's post menopause, time to get a haircut. It's easier, and they get rid of the female beauty. They're going to use this menopause excuse. I mark my words. They will use menopause as an excuse. I don't know. I got menopause. I don't know why I crashed the car into the tree. I got menopause. Not to that ridiculous level of, why you crashed the car into menopause. But eh, mark my words, it will be used as an excuse. Why are you? Let's go. I got menopause. I'm on a fixed income. I don't know who I am. Beaker again. I just see it lining up, man. Especially, here's the other one. Well, met women of a certain age. We don't like sexing you. Well, too fucking bad. Well, bye. Well, bye. That's one excuse. And the other one, what? It's hormones. I gotta be a fat piece of shit. I'm sorry. Have you seen Christine Brinkley and Jennifer Aniston and Selma Hayek? Yes, exceptionally rare women, but they put the effort and work in. In other words, you're gonna tell if your woman loves you or not based on whether she uses the menopause excuse or not. Like Thor's wife, Missy, she don't use no excuse. You know what? She chooses to stay in shape for her husband. God bless her. I don't even think she's older than me a little bit. I guess, yeah, she'd be in the menopause age. There are the women who stay in shape. They're the women who love their husbands. And it's very interesting because I know the couples where the wife absolutely adores the husband, there's not that dipshittery, ditzy, blonde moments. They don't have them. If anything, they're sparring and flirting with their husband a little bit. There's one couple in particular. She's a class act, man. No, fine. Yeah, she hit menopause. She didn't turn into a completely bumbling imbecile that needs to be watched over like a special needs child. And maybe I haven't fully articulated my thoughts, but the one thing I do know for a fact is given how humans, but especially Westerners, are eternally lazy. And they love themselves and things above all others, including their spouse. And you start to see young people using made up mental disorders. Well, not made up. They fake having mental disorders. They fake having particular types of gender to get attention to ultimately avoid work. It's going to be the same thing here. You're going to find they just, menopause. I can't have sex anymore. I don't want to, got to cut my hair. I'm not going to be feminine or girly anymore. Oh, menopause. I'm allowed to do really stupid, dumb things with no cost or consequences. It's kind of like back in the day, everyone dates their bipolar girlfriend. You all get one bipolar girlfriend. God's so nice. He gives you Americans at least one bipolar girlfriend. And they use that mental disorder as an excuse to treat people like shit. It's like, no, you're just an asshole who wants to weaponize and lord yourself over others. You're a despicable, vile human being. And not that they go to that level. Like, that's why I slashed your tires, mental disorder. But they don't want to put in the work. They don't. And maybe that's what I see where after a certain age, if you got a certain amount of money, like fuck it. You reach the point of fuck it, you don't care. You can see when people drive RVs and go to Sturgis, but more so just in traveling in general. These boomers don't care. They'll drive 45 miles an hour with their RV and clog up the roads. You know why? Because it's our time. It's our time now. It's our time. What, the fucking 15% of everybody donating to your altar wasn't enough? They so mismanaged their money that now it's their one time to go to Sturgis, the one time to RV across America. Those Cruise America vehicles, just for you youngins, when you start doing your road trip, if you see those Cruise America RVs, that's a rental. That means they don't even have the experience driving an RV. Stay the fuck away from those people. They're dangerous. I don't mean like at the gas station, you're going to beat the shit out of you. I'm like, it's our time. I'm going to drive wherever. They become petulant little children. I'm going to drive like a shitty asshole on the road, and I'm going to park and make sure no one else can get gas. Watch them. They're all up their own ass. And so maybe that's more cultural. Maybe that's more economic phenomena where, okay, you got all the money, you're going to die in 3 years. Fuck the rest of society because I'm a boomer. But yeah, the menopause it's not necessarily going to be a curveball, but I'm seeing that coming. When you guys get older, hey, I'm in the comments section. Some of you old timers, I'm sure, it's Well, and then it's like the final act, the final was it coup de grace, the final performance at the end of, and now for my final magical trick, I shall avoid responsibility until I'm dead. Because in general, this is more culturally American than it is women or men. But follow hard, money will follow. Choose stupid degree, go into critical loads of debts. And then all of a sudden, but I need a student loan bailout. I was lied to. I was da, 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 da. Like, so you're abdicating, you're abandoning responsibility there. Finally, for divorce, if you get married, having kids you can't afford, having kids out of wedlock or commitment lock. I like that commitment lock. Single motherhood. Oh, you're just strong, independent, but I need a bailout. And showing up on time, not showing up. I like always trying. There's the meme of the girl avoiding dodgeball, and it says accountability, responsibility, ownership, and then there's an element of truth there. And then at the end of it, like, okay, well, I've avoided responsibility this entire time, and now I just don't have the mentality for it. I got a case of the menopauses. Like, what? You can't do basic logic, and apparently not. It's a gray area where, like, God, it could actually be true this time. They legitimately didn't see the sign. They legitimately needed 4 gals to figure out the price of this tamping device. And I guess that's where it makes it really uh, unquantifiable, unapproachable, unresolvable. It might be true, it might not, it might be a bit of both. And a lot of guys, well, how do you solve that? I hate to say it, you just don't get involved in that shit. I've literally, I have no problems having discussions with loved ones and family, or just family and people I know that I'm involved with. Where I'm like, here are the rules. Here's how it's going to be. No joke with my old man. I'm like, you losing it? No, I just can't. Okay. Girlfriend, same thing. I'm like, there's none of this menopause bullshit. There's none of this. Oh, I have to be a fat pig because of menopause. No, no, I don't give a shit. I guess you work out more. I guess you eat even less. I have no problems putting it, because I've found that and there has to be a real threat behind it, because negotiation being nice doesn't work. But my folks, I mean, early on, I'm not helping you. I'll leave you in a ditch. And guess what? They cleaned out their houses. They're all organized. They got their will and living testament. Nobody has the slightest inkling of Alzheimer's. They're actually kind of very accomplished, active people. Kind of really respect my folks in regards to that. But I'm thinking, me scaring the piss out of them, ain't no one coming to help you. Oh, shit. And surprise, surprise, the dementia and the Alzheimer's, and I don't know, I'm on a fixed income, excuses all went away. Same thing with, you get fat, I'll leave you. You get fat, I'll fuck somebody else. No, we're not doing that, and this is how it's going to be. Otherwise, get the fuck out, and there's the fucking door. Surprise! People start behaving by it. Oh, geez, really be never works. Why I learned that long ago. And I'm wondering if it ain't the same here. Like, okay, yes, you go through biological things. That doesn't turn you to this incompetent invalid who can't read fucking. I really think people are default lazy. Well, I know that, but they'll take any excuse. And if you've actually come up through a privileged environment, yeah, you are. I mean, look at like the privileged kids in Hollywood. They are like functionally disabled children. If you had everything handed to you and the world singing your praises and you're a boomer lady and how many divorce settlements and all, I could see it. You've never actually had to pay enough attention to look for the sign. You just now have the convenient excuse. Oh, menopause. Oh, I don't wait. There's that. It's coming. Let's go to the super. Oh my God. Thai bot. John, are you over in Thailand? Come to Bangkok and stop being Thai bot for the so miserable and get the girls for fuck's sakes. Author Digsby. So thanks, John. Everyone subscribe to Modern Life Dating. Author Digby Sellers, 2 books. You should pick a safe word equals crazy happening stop. Okay. John, again, you are a menopause shaming, and that is problematic. No, I'm not it is what it is, but I'm not look, if if women who have menopause are costing society a lot in terms of economics and time and safety, well, maybe you shouldn't be out in public. Seriously. If you can't read that sign that that's big, I got a question about your safety driving. Maybe we have old timer restaurants or like a kind of like a specialization or niche market somewhere. Like, oh, here's the sorry, madam, you can't shop here. You have the short boomer haircut and you look to be over the age of 50. We have a subsidiary over there called Boomerettes, and you could sit and talk to the wait staff all you want and never order a fucking thing. But this is reserved for people under 40 who have shit going on. It's my main well, I guess maybe my main concern should be their functionality in public from a safety standpoint. Mine is more like, holy fucking shit, get the fuck out of my way. You're slowing me and literally everyone else down. And more from a theoretical, philosophical viewpoint. If older men who are married to we what do you really just do you become invalid children who just can't do anything? And then consequently, is it a fake? Is it an excuse? And I don't know, ladies, did you know the men like to have sex? I just don't like sex anymore. All right, fine. They're real questions, sociologically speaking. Oh, you got the boomer haircut, the old lady boomer haircut. All right. And you've gained weight. Fuck you. Bye. I mean, I know my answer, but like, fuck you. Bye. Fucking someone else now. And getting back to, I think it was the greatest news. No woman in North America shall be inconvenienced. I think that's the rule. No woman in North America shall be inconvenienced. And speaking candidly about menopause among literally anything else is an inconvenience, and we must kill the people who inconvenience these precious ladies. Author Digby Seller, $2. Yeah, safe word is probably too advanced. I can dream. JJJS 279 Canadian. Stay in shape. How dare you? She's a tweet. She is Twinkie maxing. Jorge S $5. The guy who invents the procedure to reverse menopause and add 20 years of fertility when we become a trillionaire. Sure, I guess. I don't know. It's part real, but I think a lot of gals they look forward to that. This what was it? 40% of women don't like sex. Don't quote me on that. It was a shocking percentage. Just like 40% of gals just aren't that interested in sex. So yes, they're not as interested in men, but some of them have no interest. A significant percent. I know you drop the right guy in front of them. But yeah, sex and satisfying men, that's a burden to them. They know that's a chore. They don't like that. Menopause now gives them that, oh, I got menopause. I would argue, well, don't get married or don't get involved in a guy with a guy then. So there we go. There, that's it. Now I've warned you. I've warned you, boys. Um, related or kind of unrelated with the gals over at Menards. I haven't done a podcast in a long time because of the mistake economy. I have a deck. The deck was built all right. And I could just go on for days, hours on this because of all the fuck ups that it's not not that they fucked up, it's that they fucked up or failed to do something. And shit, now I got to deal with that. But for example, I don't know if you guys knew this national data. There's a company out there, a background check company. It's must have been around for decades. And they got hacked. And they said 2.9 billion records have been compromised. Now, that's records. That doesn't mean individual profiles. They estimate 270 million Americans, which is 3/4 of Americans, which maybe is the majority of adults because little kids do have social security numbers, I guess. Do they? You don't get one at birth. You got to go get it, right? So it's even in high, like 85% of the adults, there's a good chance your information has been compromised due to this national data breach. And so I got LifeLock, and they give you notifications. Oh, your information's on the dark web. Da, 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 check it here. See if you've been compromised. And it's like, fuck. Because I guess I got my credit pretty locked down. And you do what's called a credit freeze with the credit bureaus. So even if your information does get compromised, when someone goes to apply for a loan or get a credit card or whatever, you need at least one of the credit bureaus to get a loan or to get a credit card. Well, you can lock those down, called a credit freeze. And I had to unfreeze my accounts to get my mortgage. And then I also had to unfreeze my accounts to get a credit card. And it had been a long time since I had done it. And they were like two of the three bureaus were unfrozen. And then this comes out. I'm like, fuck. And so then you get into the nightmare scenario. What the hell was the password I used for this? If I guess 3 times wrong, are they gonna lock me out? The last thing you wanna do is end up calling customer support. And last night when I'm trying to do this online, trying to figure it out, I don't know which one it was, Experian or TransUnion, like, forgot password. You think it'd be simple, forgot password, you enter in the information, temporarily not available. I'm like, "Fuck." They all blur together because I was just doing it today, but some of them don't even have a customer service number. If you call the customer service number, there's no human being there. I was surprised to find out that not all the credit bureaus are up to date. Like the credit bureau, one of them I checked, and I forget which one it was. Is like, it's got 3 addresses ago. I'm like, that's the address you got for me? But just, and usually it's me. Usually I got to deal with this fucking shit. Usually I got to go deal with this fucking, maybe I got to do it. Nearly every adult in America has to deal with this now. You all get to call in and lock your credit bureaus. You get to do a freeze on the credit bureaus. Just for you guys, for the audience, if you don't know, you're younger. Every single one of you needs to go to TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. Make sure it's the real websites, not fake ones trying to get your information. And you need to put a credit freeze on your credit. Unless you're going to apply for a loan momentarily. Remember your usernames and passwords so that when you apply for a loan, whether it's a car or credit card or whatever, they can check your credit. But you all get to do that. All of you get to do this now. 270 million Americans. It's going to be at least an hour for each of you. 270 million. What is that in GDP? Let me do the numbers here. You think I complain about being inconvenienced? In my mind doing mathematics about what's costing us 5 minutes with the old ladies trying to figure out how to think, and it cost us with 8 people on. You think I'm joking, I'm not. I know Democrat, Republican, taxes, deficit, print off money, all very real and legitimate concerns. We could solve all these problems if everyone stops wasting their fucking time. This national data, if they didn't fuck up. So this one fuck up, somebody over there didn't do their job right. All right, 272 million times, let's say, medium wage, $23 an hour. That is $6 billion. $6 billion. Could that have gone to help some other people? Maybe. That's just one fuck up. Yeah, $30 trillion U.S. economy, $6 billion is nothing. Yeah, but multiply 6 times 1,000 because people are fucking up. There's at least 1,000 fuck ups that cost us tremendously. Maybe not this tremendously. Yeah, there's your $1 trillion that might help pay off your student loan crisis and balance the budget and all that other shit. So I had an hour gone. You all get to have an hour gone because somebody fucked up. And that's why I've been the past 3 weeks. I got a hot tub. Hot tubs weigh a lot because of the water. Will this support a hot tub? Yeah, it will. Then everybody who comes over, like, I don't think that's supporting the hot tub. Then you start to see the joist buckling a little bit. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's not supporting the hot tub. So among a zillion other things, I got to-do lists I could show you of all the little twerks and tweak that comes naturally with the house, but then also people fucking up. This is like the big main one because you don't want people to fall off a deck in a hot tub and be like that guy from Indiana Jones on The Last Crusade, like the German guy where he falls off the cliff with the tank and then the turret of the tank falls off of the tank when it hits and then rumbles on top of you. You don't want that to happen to you. So I had to go, first you got to design it, right? I'm a structural engineer, but neither are the cousin fuckers out here or all the contractors. And by the way, I did this way cheaper and way better than your average cousin fucker contractor out here would ever do. Way better. Just so you know, in America, nearly all the contractors are dumber than shit. And if you take your time and you measure it and you do it right, if you have to hire an engineer and you follow the instructions, you will do it better than the contractors out here. So, had some buddies come in, think this would be the way to go, that would be the way to go. We'll put another beam over there. We'll do some counter levering, which I'm not going to explain. Although I am buffeted by trees, so I don't think there's a lot of anyway. So I had to dig 2 concrete holes. They have to go 4 feet down again for the frost line. Running into rocks and all that. Probably the most physically exhausting type of work I've done. Just, you got to break apart rocks, get a sledgehammer, breaking rocks. You get that post hole digger, and it doesn't get that much dirt. It's just slow and teeth. It was about 3.5 hours with 3 of us digging rocks or digging 2 holes. Then you gotta put concrete in there. Then you gotta get sonotubes, right? I don't want to hear you fucking contractors. Oh, you don't need sonotubes. That's another thing I learned about this is you ask people, well, how would you do this? Well, everyone's gonna have a different opinion. So I had to go and look for 10-inch sonotubes, which they don't have anywhere except for one place. Mistake economy. There's 8-inch tubes, 10-inch tubes, 12-inch tubes, and 16-inch tubes, depending on how wide you want the concrete pillar to be. Just tubes, like imagine toilet roll paper roll, but wider and meant for concrete to go into them, all right? I need a 10-inch one. 8 is too thin. 12 is too much concrete and too much mixing and too much digging. Right? I just need 2 sonotubes. Spent an hour and a half going to all 4 of the different supply, hardware stores. You got sonotubes? No. Where's your 10-inch sonotubes? Oh, they stopped shipping those. Why would you stop shipping 10-inch sonotubes? Somebody fucked up. Somebody somewhere, we're getting rid of the 10-inch sonotubes. Find some. Honest to God, it's like finding the last of a collectible item. Like, I got the 10-inch sonotubes. I win. I collected the last rare Pokemon card. Put them in. You got to make sure it's level because you got weight coming down on it. It's got to be straight. It's got to be precise, man. Got the level this way, level that way, level up. Putting in rocks. Then you got to haul concrete. 15 bags at 60 pounds a bag. Hauling that. You got to mix it. Then it's weighted down. You got to pour it. You got to do it all in one shot because you don't want it freezing and drying, and then you get new concrete on top. That's called a cold pour, I found out. You don't want to do a cold pour. So I get it. Everything's nice and precise. I was very proud of this. I know it sounds stupid, but it's one of the most proud things I've ever done. Because I think I did it right. It looks good. You got to go and cut the wood. The wood's got to be cut very precisely. We got to notch out some wood. You got to be very precise with the wood. Go to Menards. Hey, you know what? 6x6s, right? 6-inch by 6-inch, which is only 5.5 by 5.5 because fucking contractors. And I don't give a flying fuck about why that is. Don't put a fucking, hey, actually, Cappy, there's a really good, fuck you. They call it 5.5 by 5.5. So you get the 6x6, which really isn't 6x6. And you got to get the green treated, which means there's chemicals in it. It's heavy. Getting a great workout. I haven't been to the gym in 10 days. Didn't have to. Didn't gain a pound. Lifting up heavy beams of wood, right? So you go to Menards, right? And Menards says, hey, it's 6x6 inch. We know everybody doesn't have a long truck or a flatbed or whatever, and they might have to cut the wood down a bit. So they got a circular saw. Does it go through 6 inches? No, it's about 4.5. So you got to flip it up and all that. But you have to be precise, right? It would be great if you just had one solid cut, right? One solid cut, uniform, flat, add structural stability. Got to cut it. Then here I am, like taking a hammer, ding, 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 just moving it precisely. Okay, is that good? Okay, then I hit it nice and flat. 2 cuts, nice and flat. Then there's counter levering. Cappy, what is counter levering? And make sure that things don't go sideways. Most of it's up and down. You don't want it to fall down, but then, a good wind hits it or something. You don't want it to move sides. So you counter lever. And that's where those diagonal brackets go in between posts you've seen elsewhere. So that means you have to cut the wood at a 45-degree angle. Like, hey, Menard's got that saw that it adjusts. It could go 45 degrees. I get my square. I make the 45-degree mark. And then I click, click, click. It broke. Menard's saw broke. So guess what? Cappy's got to do it by hand now. Now I got a radial saw, but that only goes maybe 3 inches. So I got to cut once, not as precise. Cut again, not as precise. And I got to hand saw the rest of it because somebody at Menard's fucked up. The amount of sawing I done, I could have done a podcast. The amount of bullshit, looking around for shit. Oh, yeah, it's in you look it up on it. Is it in there? Is it in the stock? Yeah, it's in the stock. You get to, it's not in stock. Half my time was fucking wasted on this shit. All my time was technically wasted because people didn't do their fucking job. Half my time was double wasted because you get to, we don't have those. Why not? You don't have this? Really? You're the largest fucking supplier in the area. You don't have this common item? Oh, and don't get me started about how going to a Menards or Home Depot or Lowe's, the people there know fucking nothing. You better do all your research online, take pictures, know exactly what you're doing, get the right pitch, the right thread, galvanized versus stainless steel. You better know it fucking all before you go over there. Because those people are just fucking wandering buffalo. Probably go order their fucking food out of the wrong line at the cafe. And that's one project, man. One. I had to also, because you have to bury your concrete foundations 4 feet below, because they get below the frost line. Found out the concrete foundations on some, not my house, but some pillars only went down 2.5, maybe 3 feet. Now you have an option there. You could go ahead and dig them all up again, resupport, break out the concrete in it, or you can insulate it. So what do you mean insulate? Well, what you do is you go get some polystyrene, basically styrofoam that doesn't decay underground. You dig around the support pillar. You cut the polystyrene to go over that. I not only cut that, but then cut polystyrene to go on top of the base. So the whole thing's insulated. I use some great stuff to seal it. Oh, but make sure the great stuff doesn't melt away the polystyrene. Do all that. Then I get 4 yards of rock, which is very heavy gravel. Pour that, get the dirt, put it back on top of the polystyrene, go get the shoveling of the rocks, wheelbarrow that down, put that over. I look good naked now. I'll tell you that. I look damn good naked. You want to get in great shape, go work concrete and rock. Go become Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble. Put that out. I could have that alone. Have to go down to the rock store, select your type of rock, get an order, wait around for him to deliver it. All this horse shit because people fucked up their job. I talked to a tradesman, I talked to another, I said, "What percent of your time is clean up other people's mistakes?" 60%. You could more than double the housing supply if you all just stopped fucking your sisters and did your job right the first time. That's just the house. Says nothing about I'm trying to think of everything that I've been working on. It just blurs after a while. But now finally, I got some minor caulking to do. It's very minor. It might take a day, but it doesn't have to be done. But now I finally have a safe deck. The deck has been resupported. It looks good. I'm not kidding. Like I got like a 6x6 on two 6x6s on concrete pillars. Pretty much did it all by myself. Yes, it did have some help to get beams are heavy and long. There was another one where we had to put another 6x6 underneath the lip of the edge of the deck so that all the joists would be sitting on it, not just the joist hangers, but it would be sitting on a 6x6. So we had to notch it out. Dude, I did that so like you couldn't be too loose because then it'd be too loose, and you couldn't be tight because otherwise you're lifting this heavy thing and it won't go in. We got it all sewed, man. It went right in and kind of was like tight. And we had to get a rubber mallet and hit it in. Like, yeah, that alone saved 2 hours of heavy labor. And dude, it feels so good now to have a deck that works. Fucking safe. The one good thing, I'll tell you this. Let me help out you young boys, because you girls, if you girls wanted to, you could do this too. But menopause. If you just become a tradesman or do your own physical work around the house, wrenching on cars, I don't think you got to go to the gym. If you're mixing and pouring concrete and wheelbarrowing, full wheelbarrows full of gravel, if you're doing that, you don't have to go to the gym. I mean, I put on a shirt and it was a little small to begin with, but now it was really tight especially on my biceps. You don't have to go to the gym. The problem is, like, do you want to work a lifetime in concrete? But no joke, if you wanted to work part-time in landscaping or some kind of heavier trade like concrete or something, or just general labor, you go make some bucks. Your house, at least your landscape will be in really good shape. You can offer your services on the side. You don't have to go to the gym. You can help out people. Your neighbors be very happy. You get free cookies or whatever the heck it is. I've thought about all the calories of energy because let's say you go to the gym. You're technically not wasting any calories of energy. You're doing it for health. You're doing it to look good. You're doing it to attract the opposite sex. So it is not a waste. But what do you physically have to show for it at the end of the day aside from increased physique? Not much. Like there's no economic production. So why not have economic production at the end of it? Go learn to build a deck. Go learn to wrench on cars. You could have money on top of it. Kind of like I was talking to Mike Sartain about this, is me, Rolo, and him, among other people, when we got the most amount of girls is because the job we were working, there were a lot of girls there. When I was doing ballroom dance, Mike Sartain is basically a model agent, model broker. He's always surrounded by beautiful women. And Rolo when he was performing on stage. So you get all the girls while you are working, which is a tremendous time saver, money and time saver. Kind of the same thing. If you can work out, if you can work out while making money and not having to go to the gym, yeah, that that's a and I don't know how you get girls. Maybe you have to become a professional trainer. That might be the best job ever in terms of triple dipping, killing three birds with one stone, because I presume you're going to work out too. Then you got the girl there. You can bang that guy's wife because she'll get hot for you and then run off with and then you're getting paid for it too. I mean, win, win, win. And there has been I don't have the time and you don't want to hear about all this other shit going on. Nothing bad. It's just statistically, like, really? This shit now? There's so much stuff that I have to go and deal with. Uh, Some of it's legal. I'm not getting sued. I'm not suing anybody. It ain't like that. I had to do my estate planning. That takes a lot of time. But there's all this other stuff where it all adds up. I've literally gotten to the point. I've only been in this place twice before in my life where I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. And I'm like, well, you have to. No, no, I literally do not have the time to do that anymore. I got to deal with this. I got to deal with that. This has got to get fixed. That's got to get done. Da da da. And frankly, no, I'm not dealing with that right now. Some it, right now, some people don't know, and other people do. They're like, well, okay, I understand. Like, yeah. So fuck off. I got plenty of shit to deal with right now. And then other stuff like, no, I'm not doing that. Well, you actually have to. No, no, I don't. I've learned watching South Dakota contractors. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to. You just don't show up for a court date. Well, okay. Well, we're not going to arrest them or nothing. And yeah, sometimes it gets to that point where like, I gotta imagine for those of you guys who've been divorced, you must have been there. You gotta go to work, you gotta deal with the kids, you gotta deal with the divorce. You're mentally taxed and exhausted. And either mentally, you just don't have the gas in the tank to deal with. Like you literally cannot deal with it at that point. Now, like, nope, I gotta triage and focus on this and not that. Or there's just not enough time in the day. It's kind of liberating. Your boss, oh, I need you to come in. No, I'm busy that day. Whatever. It's my kids, or I gotta help with something else, or I gotta replace the water heater. Well, no, you don't understand. You can bang your head all day. I was watching a documentary. It was with an RAF pilot in World War II, and they had pretty high casualty rates. And he said they went through a phase, like a cycle where if you're new, you're worried and your death is always around you and people are dying left and right. And he said, but inevitably you get to a point, maybe like in 2 weeks, where you're so worried you can't function. And your brain just turns it off. You're like, yeah, if I die, I die. Like you cannot function worrying about all that other shit. That's where I'm kind of at that point. Not that I'm gonna die. It's like, no, I really don't have time to worry about that right now. But no, no, no. Find somebody else who's responsible. Try not fucking them over all the time. Maybe all of you, you know what? I'd have extra time if there weren't boomer ladies lining up in the wrong line. I'd have a lot more time if we all communally got our shit together and I didn't have to, 50% of my time is wasted because everybody's not doing their job. I would have the time if I didn't waste that 45 minutes, hour driving to Perkins and back for them not to have pie. I would have the time, but you all communally keep fucking up in this country, in this nation, that nobody's got the time. And on a granular level, there's going to be other ways communism and economic collapse comes in, but that's going to be one of them where you got. I was sitting there thinking about this, going back to estate planning. All right, everyone should do estate planning, especially you bachelors with money who don't have kids or a wife. You should have a living will and testament. You know, is that something people should? I talked to my estate lawyer, whatever type of lawyer they call him. I said, what percentage of people don't get a will by the time that? He's like, about 40%. I'm like, that's got to be a headache for the people you leave behind. Y- You factor in everything you should do. Think of everything you should do, right? You got to go to college, get some kind of training. Then you got to go apply for a job. Then you got to work. Then you should probably get a house in there somewhere. Now you got to maintain the house. Now you should probably have some kids. Now you got to raise the kids, raise the kids. Then you got dental work. Then you got medical. You should go into the office. You should go see your doctor every year, get your annual physical. You should go to the dentist 2 or 3 times a year. You should work out. You should have estate planning. You should have a colonoscopy for your guy my age. And you know what? I've done all of it. All of it. It's a very fascinating observation I had where, okay, I've gone through everything. I've done everything. Oh, there's a crack in the concrete. I should treat it with epoxy or something like that, and I have. And when you do everything you should, this country, this system, economics and political and societal speaking, is so fucking inefficiently organized and so overly complicated, it's not possible. It's not. If I had kids, I wouldn't be able to do half this shit. It's not possible. And I'm not picking on, I'm making an observation. I have a genuine question, but I think I kind of already know the answer having written The Black Man's Guide Out of Poverty. Let's say you're a black man, right? Brought up in the ghetto. You got a ton of other shit to worry about, right? You got kind of an uphill battle. What percent of, not just black men, I guess you say black people in general, what percent of you at the time, at the end of the, actually have you set up an IRA? Hmm? Do you know what a pain in the ass it is to set up an IRA? I even had to set up a SEP IRA because it's through my company and that I then get a higher tax deduction and things like that. It's tedium. It's a pain in the ass. Retirement planning alone, even with robo investors in index investing, is still a pain in the ass. Filing your taxes is a pain in the ass. Going to the dentist is the pain in the ass. And if you happen to be poor, or frankly, you come from a community where they just lie to you and you piss away your money on worthless horse shit, really, what percent of black are you sat down like, hey, you really got to set up an IRA 401k? They don't teach that in school, I gotta imagine. But it's important. Like, yeah, dental work's important. Going to the doctor's important. Retirement planning is important. We made it so fucking complicated. And your average American fuckwit makes it so you fuck it up all the time. That it takes twice the amount of time to just do normal functional living shit. That at the end of the day, does your average person, black or not, have the time to go down to whatever, Vanguard and set up your 401k plan or IRA? Which, by the way, that process is a pain in the ass. We need a blood in your left foot, and then we need this, that. And I'm like, oh my God, do you want my money or not? And I've done it, right? I've done it on easy mode. I have no kids. I get to work from home. Holy shit. I Yeah, do I get a game of poker in there and I haven't gone, I only went hiking once in the past 10 days. If you do everything you should, and the fact you basically have to do it twice over because people fuck up 50% of the time, requiring twice the amount of work, there's no time. There's no time to fucking do everything you should by the end of the day. Like even dentists, I'll give you another example for poorer people. I got cleaning for $50 a cleaning over in Vegas. Then they decided to make it $250 one day. And the dentist had to come in and talk to me and charge his $200 extra surplus fee. Fuck you. Found a dentist out here in Rapid City. Okay, yeah, you gotta get your X-rays, all right, and okay, fine. I think it was $250 for the first visit. Then this next one is $350. Dentist fucking cocksucker comes in. I'm gonna do an inspection every time, and I know a lot of people don't like that, but that's the way it's gonna be. I'm like, yeah, it's your right. It's your practice, asshole. I'm not paying $350 just to see you every time to have my teeth fucking cleaned. I have the question. I have a question. Yes, you, sir, in the back. For childless bachelors like me, technically we could afford it, even though that does push the budget a bit. What about families with just the average income? How do you fucking afford it? And why did he probably has to pay off his dental school loans? Why do we have charged so much? Because we're a bunch of fucking incompetent fuckwits and somebody fucked up the mistake economy. Oh, you got to pay $700 of credit for dental school. And at the end of the day, and you're not, I have it on easy mode. I got no kids. I got no commute. And I'm telling, and I work. It's almost impossible to do it at this level. I can't, I know like Lucifer and Geronimo's folks, they don't have time for this fucking shit. They don't go to the dentist. I mean, the kids go to the dentist, but the adults, they're running ragged. Like I got to imagine nearly every other parent adult out there in the United States. But if I, a single bachelor guy with no kids, can't do it, or barely can do it, what's somebody who's got a real job and a commute got to do? What's like a real adult? What do you real adults got to do? And I know y'all, ha ha, funny old menopause ladies who can't read a sign. You take that, you multiply it by the 250 million Americans who are idiots and don't do their jobs right. You multiply it times 5 times 300 times 365. That's the number of annual mistakes they make. There's your fucking slow up. There's your fucking lost efficiency. That's the mistake economy, and that's really what's holding us back. I mean, yeah, socialism and high taxes too. But let me ask you this, like, I gotta imagine maybe Norway and Sweden is like this. Okay, they got 50% taxes, but they don't fuck up anywhere near as much as the United States. Singapore would be ideal. Less fuck ups than the United States and low taxes. And yeah, so that's where I've been. I've been dealing with everybody's fuck ups. We could have a lot nicer things. We could have had lots of, what would you rather have? Cappy's repaired deck with doesn't benefit anybody, or 4 more podcasts in the can that we could all enjoy and advertisers could run more advertising dollars. Where do you want to be? Because right now, man, you got a broken window fallacy economy that accounts for 50% of GDP, as far as I can tell. And I don't care what the nominal GDP figure says. That's not higher standards of living. So I guys down the road, man. Small little bachelor hut. Swear to God, learn to build it yourself. Build it yourself. You're gonna have to learn how to become your own mechanic because the mechanics are dumber than fuck. Just try to be able to do everything yourself and try to interact with people as listen. Now, try to interact with them out there as little as possible. Try to interact and rely upon the public as little as possible. The good news, though, dude, I am so close. So I could do a podcast. I actually had the time today. I'm so close, like the final nail going in the final project. I just got to do a little bit of caulking. That deck was the biggest thing. That's all done now. I even cleaned out the garage because it's freaking sawdust and crap and everything all over the place. I had to clean that out. Had to suck up and vacuum a couple black widows. They're out here. That's kind of priority. Yeah, I don't want to go to the hospital. But it's and then maybe we could get back to fucking normal. And I swear, going forward, I am going to be so judicious when I go out in public. Nope, I'm going to go there. Really, you are healthier. For example, Sonic is reliable out here. It's better for me to go to Sonic than trying to go to some kind of restaurant that fucks up the shit and gets my blood pressure up. It is. It's better to go just to the less you deal with people, the healthier mentally and physically you're going to be. And you just got to find those key places. Like, I finally got myself a mechanic that isn't fucking the tailpipe with his limp dick when he's presumably repairing my car. They got their shit together. I got to find a dentist again. Up here. I found one in Vegas. Guess what? Surprise. Predominantly minority and Latino. There's a lot of, not a lot, but there's the dentist I talked to was Asian. 40% of the staff is Latino. Oh my God, I bet you they serve people who don't have $1 billion fucking dollars to pay $300 for a tooth cleaning. And they do brisk business. They got a lot of dentists in there. And not that I'm an expert on tooth cleaning, but the guy did a pretty damn good job. Got in there, I think I did the thing. This latest dentist I went to up here, oh, we're doing this new thing, this paint they have in Sweden. What the fuck is this paint they have in Sweden? Well, we paint your teeth with the paint they have in Sweden, and it shows if you got any cavities. Like, that sounds awfully expensive. And it was. Why can't we just do it the old way? Oh, it came from Sweden. It's made by a bunch of self-loathing motherfuckers. Great. Oh. Let's go to the super chats. We're going to call it a day. Dre, $2 Operation Evil, government loans for egg freezing at 12%. Oh, that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. There's another, you want to talk about the mistake economy, but I think it's more because it's such a new technology. Uh, go look at your chances of success of having an egg make it at each stage, from extraction to freezing to thawing to gestating, where it gets fertilized, to it not coming out to be baby. It's, I think, yeah, I'm very roughly estimating, but it was like she had 36 eggs and none of them made it. Now, again, that's new technology, but ladies, you wanted all this affirmative action. How would you girls feel instead of the best, most talented medical professionals at the egg freezing place? You just had a bunch of affirmative action hires and didn't earn it types. Would you like your eggs to be? Would that be all right? Keep voting Democrat, girls. It's the best. But yeah, I got to imagine a fair amount of the mistake economy has resulted in eggs that would have otherwise been fertile or viable no longer being. Berkshire 5 Australian. Some countries are aging and practically asexual at this point. Japan and Hong Kong as an example. That's fine. Populations can go down. There's nothing wrong with go watch my video. Like, declining populations don't matter. If you have a welfare state that's dependent on enslaving younger generations to pay for older generations, you have a Ponzi scheme welfare state, yes, then declining populations matter. But you all knew better, and come on, baby, lighted my fire, and girl bossed. And like, wait a minute, where's the production? Why are things so expensive? Author Digsby Sellers, $2. I don't believe you did all this. What the fuck? What? All the work? Oh, dude, that's nothing. Yeah, I saved my to-do list to remind me of everything. I got 2 binders now because one got full. Let me see. I re-graveled my driveway. I mean, you want to talk about all the projects? I cleared out an acre of rock and weeds, so I had a yard. I put the pond liner down for the pond, dug it deeper, put pond liner down and have so like when water flows into it, and I put a little dam, so I got a nice little pond. There's regular maintenance like spraying. Thankfully, mosquitoes stay away as long as the pond is flowing, and sometimes it's dry, but that's a different story. What? Had to resupport the deck. I gotta stain the deck next. I got the soffits on the house, the roof had all be caulked around because we have miller moths. They don't do nothing except annoy you, but you'll have 30 moths in your house flying around. So I moth-proofed the house. I built my own device to go over the chimney flue to keep moths from coming in. That I had to go get the particular um, clamps and cut the wire and make it. I had to install it on there. Then I put holes in the top, which then ended up in leaking. So I had to raise it with some washers and put caulk around so water didn't come down the flue. I did my own shelving. I had to do all the trim work on the house. I did all the retaining walls. 5 of them, 3 of which were sizable. Yeah, done a ton of work. It's not like it's complicated. It's just you gotta be precise. It's just raw physical labor. Oh, and then I couldn't bring the bobcat in, so I had to do it by hand, but I had to slope water away from the house. Oh, I put in a French drain, dug that by hand, and then I had to slope the landscaping away from the house. So I had to dig land up against the foundation of the house, tamp it down with the tamper, so the water would flow away from the basement. I put pond liner down there, and that was 10 yards of gravel. It was an insane amount of gravel. Yeah, I did. I did work. I'm not a Democrat. Remember when Democrats were physical labor, blue collar, and now they're just a bunch of pussy soy boy trust fund babies? Oh, we don't believe I did do all that. Mazel 10. Dude, I was fucking Atham, man. I was doing all the work. What I'll do is a joke with the guys. I'll mow the yard. I'll take a picture of it and I'll send it to Atham and the gang. I say it's a sad day when the white man has to do a Mexican's job. Atham, he does. Well, I don't know if he wants to let people know what he does, but he doesn't do your classical Latino work. He does some a little different. Monst's all $10. In your research regarding the deck, did you come across adjustable helical posts by Pilex? If so, how did you go with concrete pylons instead of helical posts? No. What's a helical post? Oh, those. Oh, interesting. We use something like that to raise the deck so we could put the 6x6 in, measure, and then we lowered it back down. Those are interesting. Helical pipe installed in less than 4 hours. Very interesting. Okay, yeah, so that goes onto the 6x6 and that just goes into the ground. I don't know. Not that or does that go into the concrete? Oh, I see. Interesting. So the long you just drill that into the ground very far and deep, it goes below the frost line. Yeah, if you got it deep enough, it wouldn't. Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah, but if you run into a rock, I'd imagine, well, maybe it just pushes the rock out of the way. That's not a bad, for quick and dirty. I'd almost, yeah, that looks pretty good. Uh, it that probably would have taken less energy. I see. We probably would have still because I would have ran into rocks. There's a ton of rocks down there. It's moot now. I've done it. I'm never gonna have to do it again. But yeah, next time maybe if I build a shed or something, I might do that. Ken Rose, $2. Thank you very much. All right, that's it. Link below is link to my Amazon affiliate program. Just do all your Amazon shopping there. I get a commission to cut. Doesn't cost you anything more. And then all proceeds go to me basically paying for lumber and concrete and all that. Although I will say it was good. There was an dude, these fucking contractors, they're fucking scum out here. This guy gave me a quote to redo my deck for $91,000. I'm like, dude, that's half the fucking cost of the house. What the fuck are you talking about? Like I know the materials on the deck was like 15 grand. Like, get the fuck out of here. They're fucking scum. And I think we redid the deck and support. Well, didn't redo the deck, but we supported it. And all in all, way less than 2,000 in materials and let's say a week of work. This deck will be finished and waterproofed and all that other shit. Uh, as opposed to these contractors quoting 91,000 fucking dollars. There, I fear for you younger people because these contractors are not only they're incompetent, but they're such scumbags. They are going to fuck you over. They really are. You young people really do need to just go learn to build your own little house or go van life or look at blocks or some kind of prefab home or how to set up a tough shed. You really cannot rely on these contractors anymore. You just can't. I mean, it's one thing if they charge you 2,000 bucks for $1,000 or $1,500 job, but if they're charging you $91,000, you're dumb enough to sign on it because mom and dad didn't teach you anything about finance. That will destroy your life. That's like going to college and listening to Marxist leftist professors. See what I did there? Because college probably costs more than a $91,000 deck. So there's the Amazon affiliate link. All the money and the proceeds will go to reimbursing me for galvanized nails and brackets. What else? There's the books. There's my courses. The newest course is The World's Greatest Accounting Career. If you're interested in accounting as a career, maybe consider taking that course. Otherwise, there's Achieving Financial Excellence, which goes over the true purpose and point of money and the role it should play in your life. And then the hell else books? Oh, the Subscribe Star podcast. I got to do one of those too. I haven't done those in a while. Those of you who want to belong to the elite membership of $2 a month, you get access to the Road Trip podcast and some pinups. By the way, ladies, if you kindly wanted to send some pinups, see, that was the thing is I'd offer only elite members $2 a month get access to the Road Trip podcast, which is just me recording on my phone, either when I'm road tripping or hiking. And it's the same shit here. It's just extra. But then to sweeten the deal, I had at one time, remember when girls used to send you pictures? Girls would send in the occasional picture, PG-13, nothing rated R. But it's been the same ones almost for like 8, 9 years now. If you girls want to contribute, we'd be happy. Steve Health and Fitness, $5. Thank you, Steve. Steve's Health and Fitness again for $5. Hey, Cappy, just checked out Quonset Hut Home. Yeah, Quonset Huts. Looks like you could get a turnkey one for anywhere for $30,000 to $50,000. Yes, I knew a guy who lived in a Quonset Hut. The issue is going to be insulation, but I kind of like a barn dominium. You could have a room that is within the Quonset Hut. You could build it up, insulate it. But yeah, a Quonset Hut would be something to consider. You really got to view it like, dude, I just need lodging. I need a place to sleep where it's clean and safe. And that that also meets code requirements wherever you're buying, which puts a lot of emphasis on finding a place where there aren't any code requirements, where you're just going to build it to your own safety and satisfaction. If you look at it for a place for lodging that is safe and clean, probably at least 1/5, if not 1/8 the cost of modern day homes, especially for a bachelor or bachelorette. Vlad Elcom, CPA, $2. How do you think the Chicago Bears will do this year? I hope they throw the ball good and beat the hated Carolina Patriots. Who the fuck plays in Carolina? Panthers. All right, that's it. Cappy's going to go get some food. By food, I mean a protein ball. And we'll see you guys later. Toodles.